Hello and welcome to the Metroidvania podcast. This is Cauldrath from the Metroidvania subreddit and Discord.
Hi, this is Master. I'm also from there.
Hi, I'm Atcero, and I'm the local Castlevania simp. And I've reused that, but I did not think of anything today, so that's what you get.
You could say Bloodstained Simp.
Miriam simp. There we go.
All right.
Also, my game's not picking it up because it's being rude.
So we mentioned Bloodstained because the game is Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, not Ritual of the Night. Atcero is playing Curse of the Moon, which is the Classicvania style one.
Yes. And it's refusing to pick up for right. Why? You worked! You worked. There we go.
We were hyped up for this working, but now we're just disappointed.
No, it's okay. I got it. It's
Okay.
finicky. Like, there we go. I got it. I got it. I
I
got it.
see.
We're good. We're good. Unless it's now not working.
I can see it in the stream, although it's frozen.
Yeah, it's what?
Maybe it just hates full screen mode.
I think it does. That's weird. Alright, well, I guess we're in windowed mode. For whatever reason. Technical difficulty.
Does it have the
There we go.
like windowed full screen?
No. Well, it doesn't matter. I can play it in windowed mode. I can make it full screen for stream, so we're good.
Oh, okay. So you're just looking at it in the upper left corner, but it is streaming as if it was full screen.
Yes.
Okay.
We're doing
No,
veteran. I ain't no bitch.
no data.
I don't think, no, I beat this on my laptop. That's
Hmm.
why. So yeah, hype!
There
I'm
once was
so
a man who
hyped.
had been given
No!
the moon's curse by demons.
Okay, no! That man was Zangetsu.
I was just trying to do a was a man from Nantucket.
Oh no, the
Um,
text is gone. What a shame.
so yeah, I guess the reason we picked this game was because it is a Bloodstained game, and Bloodstained is an example of a game that had a lot of hype behind it when it first came out. Um, but some people didn't like some aspects of it, and
Yeah.
some people did.
I just didn't personally like the art direction. And honestly, like, I was very hyped for it in the vein of, oh my god, it's gonna be like another Symphony of the Night, and then it wasn't. And I was kind of sad about that.
I mean, gameplay wise, it was another Symphony of the Night.
But
Well, more like
the
Aria
no
Song.
pixels killed it for me a lot. Also, I'm getting my ass handed to me. I gotta.
Do you think it was a reasonable expectation that it was pixels though?
Not when they announced the art direction. I was hoping it was gonna be more in the vein of a drawn, kind of like with um the preview
Hollow Knight
art kind of
clone?
was, and then
You
just
wanted a
was
Hollow Knight
neither.
clone?
Huh?
You wanted a Hollow Knight clone with hand drawn
No,
art?
no. If you look at the preview art of what the game was gonna be, the promotional art, it was gorgeous. I loved the style. I can't slide under there. Um, and I fucking adored it, and then it just wasn't like that, which made me sad. Because I'm fine with pixel arts, but I'm also fine with that more drawn style. But then it was neither.
Would you say that the hype resulted in a worse experience?
Not in this case for me, because regardless, I beat it 3 times.
All is Miriam?
Yes.
I played it once as Miriam and once as Bloodless.
I couldn't do the bloodless mode. I didn't beat it bloodless. I tried it bloodless. I just couldn't beat it.
Oh. Yeah, I did normal for Miriam and then hard for Bloodless.
I 100%ed the bestiary. I think I 100%ed the souls. Or the shards.
Bloodless mode changed up the progression, right?
Yeah, and it was actually ability gated.
It's like an
Um,
actual new.
Mode.
It actually feels like a new mode instead of playing through the same game, but with
yeah,
a
you
different
actually
character.
start in her boss room, and they rebalanced all the enemies so that the enemies that are near her boss room are low level, and then if you go back to the starting area, they're actually
Higher.
stronger. Yeah.
That's actually really
Pretty
cool.
nice. So isn't her boss room above the main foyer?
It's yeah, like
Roughly, yeah.
So
yeah.
it wouldn't be that. It's not that long to travel to get back to the start.
Also, it's called
Yeah.
foyer. I had to be an obnoxious French person. It is actually
Okay.
foyer, and I hate it. It looks like foyer. It should be foyer.
When I Google it and I press the little icon that plays the audio in Google, they say foyer.
Ah! Good. Now I can say foyer without people getting mad at me.
They'll still get mad at you.
Well, they can suck this cock.
They'll be wrong, but they'll be mad,
They'll find a
which is the
reason to be
best kind
mad.
of wrong.
Train Boy! He was never in the actual game, if I remember correctly. No, he was.
Well, this is supposed to be like an alternate reality, isn't it?
Yes. Ow. I should have gotten the whip. Ah, I
Yeah,
forgot about that.
you seem to have been desperately avoiding the whip.
Yeah, I like my holy water.
You'll be fine. You are a professional.
I would not say that. I'm getting my ass handed to me right now.
Sometimes professionals get their ass handed to them.
That was not the attack I thought you were gonna do.
Maybe it's random.
No, it's based on location.
Ah,
So if I
So are
stand here...
you...
Huh?
Is this boss see the conductor of the hype train?
Yes! That's actually part of the reason why I wanted to call it Hype Train, because I knew the first boss is the train.
yeah, I only played through the first few levels of this.
I have beaten it many times. Same with the... Not same with Curse of the Moon 2. That one I only did the full one playthrough. But this would technically be the start of my third playthrough.
I've gone through this game a couple times.
I very much enjoy it.
It's fun.
I enjoy Curse of the Moon better than I do the actual Ritual of the Night. For better or worse.
What was wrong with Ritual of the Night?
Ritual of the Night, for me at least, did not feel... I mean, it felt fine, but for me it's mainly the art, if I'm gonna be honest.
I
That
feel like
art...
that's how it is for a lot of the people who like strongly were like mad at the game. Was
Yeah.
just like, oh, it's not pixel art, and I demand that it be pixel art.
And I didn't mind it not being pixel art. I just still, even when he corrected the stuff, I still wasn't a huge fan of the art direction. I mean,
Yeah,
I like my pixels. Huh?
I would agree. It kind of seems like it lacks style in a way. The random Having a lot of random enemies works better when it's sprites, I think, than when it's models. It's more jarring to see a big floating dog head when it's
In
the model of a
realistic,
dog.
same with the cat. The cats threw me off.
Well, isn't the point of a lot of them to be jarring?
I don't know, honestly.
Like, isn't one of the main goals of Castlevania is you go into a new room and be like, oh wow, that's a crazy thing.
There's a point though. Like, there's some parts of that, but it still felt cohesive. It was crazy, but cohesive. Cats with horns did not feel cohesive, in my opinion. And I understand part of that is because they couldn't have the demons from Konami. They couldn't do some of the demons that they did before the same way. I love how they could, however, do like shit like Blur. They could do Blur the same because Konami can't copyright claim that because that's in the Ars Goetia. So they're like, whatever. Oh, fuck.
They could also do Dracula. That's out of copyright.
I think the whole theming of the game might be, though. Oh, fuck. A little fast enough. I mean, I didn't mind Jeeble, personally.
Yeah, I just don't know if it's going to be like a recurring villain type thing.
Oh, he's dead. Probably. Yeah. Maybe? I don't know. Fuck out of here, demon toads. Yeah.
What do you got against demon toads?
They've been assholes in every game they've been in.
I'm sure there's at least one game, probably some like Japanese RPG where they have demon toads that are good guys.
Eh?
But I can't think of any examples.
Oh.
So,
I heard the cat being a little shit, too.
So what is everyone the most hyped for?
Elder Scrolls 6. I got brain rot. I'm not gonna... Nice.
Wow.
But...
They did just have that Nintendo Direct today that didn't have Silksong.
You mean yesterday? Fuck.
Oh yeah, yesterday.
Should've jumped.
Days kind of running all together.
Yeah.
I know
And God of War.
it's become a meme and therefore is no longer an original thought, but man, the amount of farming games...
Dude, it was bullshit! Why?
Just... Everyone noticed...
Would you say that you're the opposite of hyped for farming games?
I would say so.
Ugh. Oh, you want to know a game I was really hyped for and then sucked dick? Deedlit.
Oh yeah.
I was so hyped for that.
So the only way they set up expectations that it would be like Symphony of the Night is that they described it as being a Metroidvania, and they made the sprites look like Symphony of the Night.
Yeah, well, they not copied, but they heavily influenced the walk cycle.
Right. So it was an expectation that other aspects of the game would be copies based on a certain thing being a copy.
Yeah. But it wasn't even that good of a game in the end. Like, it wasn't even that hard. It really just kind of didn't live up to a lot of what it was setting forth.
Is it significantly different from the other Team Ladybug games in that respect?
I don't know. I've never played any of them.
Oh, well then.
That was my first one.
Let's see. I've played... Actually, the only other one I played was Toya Luna Nights. But neither of them were difficult games.
Oh, no, I remember the boss of this level. Yeah! Cross, bitch!
See, the other one they did was Pharaoh Rebirth, but I haven't actually played that one yet.
Do you think it's better when people... Do you think it's better for people to be too hyped or not hyped enough for a game? When I say not hyped enough, I mean the opposite of hyped. Like, people despise the game before it comes out for some reason.
I think the best example of an opposite of hype for like how good the game was is the DMC reboot.
Wait, they rebooted Devil May Cry?
Yeah, like the emo guy.
Oh, V?
No,
No?
The guy
it was
who's
just
not the DMC guy, but who's the protagonist of a new game called Devil May Cry.
yeah. He was called Dante. He was like a emo-looking, Justin Bieber-looking guy. But yeah, it was Dante and Virgil were the two characters, but it was like a reboot where
Oh,
they
weird.
were new characters, and like everyone expected it to be terrible, and it was actually a pretty good game.
Okay.
Like the story wasn't that good, but the gameplay was.
Hey, that's the same. The original was the same thing.
Yeah, actually, Devil May Cry isn't very much of a story-based game.
Nevertheless, I'm sure because you brought it up, there are people who are biased against the game.
Ow.
Yeah, there was a lot of bias against the DMC reboot. You could say that it was like the opposite of hyped.
People are also, before it came out, The Last of Us Part 2 had a lot of drama and discourse surrounding it.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, I still haven't played that one, but
Fuck.
it was mostly because I was not a big fan of the first one.
Yeah, I never played the first one, and I didn't really care. But it
Same.
was fun watching people complain.
Yeah, like there's positive, like there's constructive criticism, and then stuff that's just like it was the whole like woke debate thing, and I have not played the game, so I can't really weigh in on whether or not the way they presented the story had any sort of issues.
I don't think people would be so disappointed about it if it was actually fine. Like generally, I think a lot of people will pick up on kind of not liking things about the story, even though they can't really like analyze the story and say what's specifically wrong with it.
Yeah.
Well, for that game, I heard a lot about it before it came out, and then almost nothing afterwards.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of the criticism was not based on anything substantial.
I mean, the game's entire story got leaked before the game came out. That was the source of the
Yeah, but
controversy because people didn't like the leak story. And then people didn't like it when they actually played it either.
Shit.
Like the leaks were accurate.
honestly, I think that the way a story is presented is far more important than what the like basic plot is.
Yeah.
So it
I
doesn't
don't
really
know.
matter if the script was bad.
I think that's fair.
Okay, I have to pause. The cat is literally attacking my control and trying to drag it down. No.
Oh no.
Yeah, you could have the most dogshit story, honestly, but how you execute it, it could be one of the best ones.
Yeah. You just need good like the dialogue to be written well or something like that.
Yeah. And compelling characters. Like,
Right.
period.
And that's something you can't really determine without actually experiencing it.
Yeah.
Maybe. I've not played either, but I have heard a bit of the like plot criticism about the second part, and it seems that they represented characters a lot differently than they were portrayed in the first game, and that's where a lot of the disappointment came from.
Which is weird, because there was a huge time gap, wasn't there? Like, people do change.
Yeah. Especially young people.
Exactly.
But yeah, I feel like none of us has played this game, so we're all just like doing conjecture.
Yeah.
I agree. Like, I've heard people have opinions about it, but I don't know how accurate they are, so I'm not gonna just say that those opinions are mine.
Right. I can have opinions on people's opinions. Like, I feel like a lot of those opinions were prematurely made.
Oh, that's why I can't. Okay.
My opinion is that both of the games are overrated,
Dang.
and people were hyped for a sequel to the first game, maybe, and being hyped for the first game and getting a game that was a different game than the first game caused people to be upset. And thus, the hype became anti-hype.
So how much do you think sequels should have to adhere to their source material?
Depends on what it's
See,
marketed as, I feel.
that's the thing, because it can be very interesting to have a game sequel evolve beyond the first game or go in a different direction. And I guess there has to be the most generic response ever would be you have to always find a balance. But if the original game was good enough, you have to consider the fact that making something radically different than what was already established to be good
Mhm.
may not be worth the investment. If you make a game that's great, then you make a sequel and you should expand upon the first game, but if you were successful, it's much safer to just give people more of the first game. A better version of the first game.
The Mega Man style.
Hmm.
And then then I think Breath of the Wild is probably one of the biggest examples of a game that
Yeah.
was a heavy departure from
Yeah.
the previous one.
And a lot of
To
people loved
be
it, and a lot of people didn't.
Yeah.
to be fair though, that's an established franchise putting out a game that's going in a new direction versus a game whose entire franchise is that one game getting a second game.
Yeah, and it's
Is-
also a game that's almost more of a movie than a game.
Mhm.
So I feel like that type of game, they don't really have to adhere as much to the gameplay elements, but should probably adhere more to the same storyline elements.
Maybe, which to my understanding it did not do at all. The game that I'm probably most familiar with that many people were disappointed with upon release of the sequel would be Dying Light and Dying Light 2. A lot of people really enjoy Dying Light. I like Dying Light, though it does have some plot issues, you could say.
Mhm.
And everyone wanted a game that just expanded upon the first game and fixed its biggest issues to really have like a perfect game. But the second game instead kind of departed from the gritty atmosphere and the don't know if realism is the right word or anything, but the original game had a much different atmosphere than the second game does. And part of that's because they're set in completely different like time periods basically. The second game taking place after the downfall of civilization, and the first game taking place inside a quarantine zone before the downfall of civilization.
Hmm.
Yeah, when
The
there were
game,
like airdrops and stuff like that.
yeah,
Yeah, which
the
seems like it wouldn't be a thing possible when civilization has fallen.
no. Another thing though, one of at least I haven't played Dying Light 2, but one of the things I've noticed that I've also seen other people complain about is how the game is a lot more numbers focused. Like enemy zombies have levels and health bars above them, and they also have set animation instead of true ragdoll physics like the
Hmm.
first game has. Those two things alone, even though that's partially just like an aesthetic change, they do a lot to change the tone of that game. Because the first game had like leveling up and RPG elements as well, but the zombies didn't have levels, and it wasn't expected that you could see a health bar on them.
First one did have a bunch of RPG elements, though.
Yeah. But those were more about empowering your character than they were about fighting the enemies, I guess, because you get I believe the enemies in Dying Light 2 will level with you. Could be wrong on that.
Mhm.
If they do, then that is also a big departure from being able to get stronger and find better weapons and then being able to more easily dispatch of zombies and countering stronger zombie types. Fighting any particular zombie would sort of be like their power level would remain consistent.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that I remember the main progression being able to like beat the. I'm trying. I don't remember the name of the things that just like show up at night and then just like wreck you
The
when you first start the
volatiles.
game. Yeah, and then like when you get close to the end of the game, it's just like, oh, whatever.
I mean, it's still stressful dealing with them, but you are able to kind of deal with them later on. Though, that also reminds me, Dying Light 2 seems to have a lack of tension in it. There's less zombies everywhere. Night time isn't much of a threat, and the game feels more like a scripted open world RPG than it does a successor to Dying Light 1.
Yeah, it does seem like a lot of open world games. The temptation is just to like do what all the other ones are doing,
Yeah.
which makes it just like seem blah.
Yeah.
Instead of playing into their strengths for Dying Light, from Dying Light 1 in Dying Light 2, they went in a different direction, which unfortunately was met with some mixed reception. And perhaps the direction they went with the second game was worse than the first game's direction. However, I do know that they're updating the second game, new content, and in addition to mod tools, I think that soon players will be able to have a similar experience in Dying Light 2 that they did in Dying Light 1. That concludes the Dying Light rant.
I've never played either, so I have nothing on it.
Yeah, I had some friends that wanted to play it, so I played it with them. And for, like pretty much any game, like if you play it like a multiplayer game with your friends, it doesn't have to be good.
Yes.
Just has to have like some stupid stuff that can happen.
Drop kicking zombies off of rooftops.
Yeah.
Oh. Fuck. I hate this area.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of co-op Metroidvanias, especially online co-op.
It
Oh,
makes
there've been
sense.
people talk
there
about
are.
it.
Yeah. And now you're stuck with the guy that has
Shit.
no good like regular melee attack.
His fire is good, but not with the Plumapara right there being a little bitch. Hate the Plumapara.
There are many different reasons why co-op Metroidvanias aren't very popular, I think. One would just be that Metroidvanias are very progression focused, and having cooperative multiplayer generally mean implementing an extra character that would progress along with the first character, like in Outbuddies, instead of having I guess, a symmetric multiplayer experience.
I mean, that's kind of like open world RPGs though too. Like no one's progression is the same.
You could say that like MMOs are open world RPGs.
Well, that's what like ESO and Final Fantasy 14 are.
Yeah.
They're actual open world boys.
I mean, you can do, like, there's no reason why you couldn't do an MMO Metroidvania.
And making it MMO would probably be a bit more of a stretch.
Yeah, it would be just an MO.
I mean, you can have a game where the hub has 80 other players in it, then when you go off
So you're
into a
describing a
part of
crest
the
like.
world, well, no, you can have an interconnected world, but then you would have the world be instanced. Or, I
Yeah.
mean, you wouldn't even need to have it be instanced. You would just be able to see players with higher progression flying past you and going through ability gates that you can't go through.
I feel like a lot of the appeal of an MMO is just the shared world where you're like doing something and then like, oh, there's somebody else they're also doing that thing.
Yeah.
Which is actually one thing that, since we have to bring it up every single time, Dark Souls.
God damn it.
That's the one thing that they did well without having to actually make it an MMO. Like having that shared world.
Yeah, Dark Souls did it perfectly,
Shit.
as far as I'm concerned, with the message system. Also, optional co-op and PvP.
Is this dog? Hidden room ahead.
Oh, yeah.
That's
My finger butthole.
It's so strange that we live in a world where Dark Souls is a more social game than, I don't know, Halo. It's so strange the way a lot of games have moved into the territory of limiting your social interaction with other players instead of facilitating it.
Because not everyone wants that socialness. Like, I enjoy the limited nature of Dark Souls because it is so limited. I don't have to deal with people unless I kind of want to.
That's
I mean,
not
yeah, you
what
get
I'm.
invaders.
It's
Or
it's
what do
not
you
quite
mean?
what I'm saying. I'm comparing multiplayer games and saying that Dark Souls, which can be a single player experience, just the act of having like messages that other people leave on the ground, that's more social than these like these multiplayer games where there are no social lobbies and players can't chat with each other.
That's true.
Yeah, almost in a lot of multiplayer games, it
Here, I'll be
almost
right
feels
back.
like they're just like enemies. Like there's not a significant difference between players and NPCs.
Yeah. That's the uh that's the problem. And I've been thinking about Halo lately. As you know, there's been much Halo drama because of Halo Infinite being unfortunately bungled.
Mm.
And part of the criticism around that game that people have started picking up on because there were some videos made about it is the fact that Halo was originally a rather social game where players could match into pregame lobbies and chat with each other and make friends. And that's impossible to do in a lot of newer games.
Oh, it just match makes you directly into the match.
Yes, that's what Halo Infinite does. And then you just kick back to the menu when the match ends.
Mm. Yeah, that's one thing about Warframe is they you matchmake into a mission, and then you do the mission, and then everyone just immediately it keeps you in the group as if they want you to keep hanging out with the same people. Um, but everyone just immediately tries to bail as fast as possible.
That's like ESO, actually, when you do dungeons. Like, you
I
can
think
matchmake and do the dungeon with people, but then, unless you're playing with friends, everyone leaves the group to go do other stuff.
I think part of it is because when people play video games nowadays, they can hang out in Discord or whatever, and it's
Yeah.
pretty easy to do that
Mhm.
because when we're comparing Halo Infinite lobbies to Halo 2 lobbies, Halo 2 is on Xbox Live and you're playing on a console where that's like your only avenue of social interaction.
Amber, ow, 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 ow! What cat?
Thing is though, you're probably not making new friends over Discord. You're probably just talking with your existing friends.
I mean,
Yes.
I met you two on Discord.
This is true.
After I didn't talk there for like 3 months.
But yeah, that is an interesting question of how do you force players to interact with each other, or maybe not force them to, but encourage.
And allow the option.
Yeah.
Well, going off of Warframe does have clans, and clans gate some progression.
Yeah, I'm in a clan, and all I do in the clan is if they ask for stuff in the chat, then I'll go donate, and other than that, I just go to the clan thing for blueprints. Like once in a long while, they'll have a new research that you need to do, and I'll contribute to that. But other than that, I don't really do anything with my clan. I think that might be just an issue with Warframe not having a lot of events that are clan related.
Yeah, I suppose the best way to force people to be social is to just present them with challenges that require them to cooperate or communicate. Like, I suppose Destiny 2 does that to some degree.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though. Not everyone wants to be social when they're playing video
Right.
games.
That's why I'm saying. That's why I said, how do you encourage it rather than. I changed
Force
my
it.
mind about using the word force.
God damn it, these little nerds. They're gonna be social and they're gonna fucking like it. They're gonna make friends.
I mean, all you really have to do is, at least for a game like Halo, is just facilitate it with lobbies or have chat open on by default. I think Halo Infinite doesn't have voice chat on by default. Maybe that's wrong.
Mm.
I forget I said anything about that.
You
I
do
don't actually know if
avoid a
that's
lot
true.
of toxicity by not having voice chat.
True.
Yeah,
A lot of racists out there.
I feel like that's part of it when you're comparing, Xbox Live to modern games, is that modern games are actively trying to moderate that kind of chat, and I don't think that was as big of a priority back in the Xbox Live days. So you would encounter a lot more toxicity naturally. However, the difference now is you just don't encounter people talking at all.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then the
Yeah.
people who do intentionally talk are more likely to be trolls
Yeah. So
because normal average people aren't talking.
so the question is also, like, there's how do you avoid being Halo Infinite, but also how do you avoid being League of Legends, where people will talk to you like all the time, whether you like it or not.
You.
I mean, I have a friend who. Now, when I say I have a friend who plays League of Legends, don't worry, they don't play it anymore.
Okay,
Okay.
good.
But
I'm glad.
they've played it casually in the past, and I know they've had both positive and negative experiences with other people in League of Legends. So I don't think it's entirely toxic.
They've put a lot of work in trying to make it less toxic, and like I kind of respect how much work they've put into that, but it's still not great.
It's not enough.
Yeah. It's just like the cooperative and competitive combined just lends itself to toxicity.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to fight it is like a Herculean task.
Yeah.
Putting a band-aid over a fucking gushing dam.
Hmm.
I think in the end, a lot of the least toxic games are just the ones where it's not multiplayer or most people are playing by themselves and then there's a multiplayer chat attached to that.
Yeah, or if it's a game where like you're unlikely to fail, like Warframe is actually considered one of the most like friendly games. And that's because like yeah, you might go a little bit slower if somebody sucks, but you're not gonna like unless it's a really high level mission and people really don't know what they're doing, you're not gonna fail.
Yeah, the game doesn't require other people to be as good as you are or as leveled as you are,
Yeah.
because everyone can sort of do their own thing and be successful.
That's kind of like ESO. You can match with a group and everything will get scaled to your level, which is nice.
Yeah, I'm thinking of also, there are games like Path of Exile where most of the time people aren't going to be playing in a group, people will just be playing by themselves, and they'll just have the global chat or a one of many global chats on, and I think generally it's friendlier when you have people communicating to each other as they're playing their own solo experiences than if they were playing together.
Mhm. I think one other thing is pacing is what allows people to chat. So like with Warframe, I don't chat a lot because I'm just always doing something. But like League of Legends, whenever you're like teleporting back, you've got like nothing better to do. So you can just like do your shit talking then.
God.
How nice that they provide you an opportunity to shit talk.
This just reminds me one time I was doing a Smash 4 and I was playing online and I used parry and someone legit had names typed out so they could communicate and say stop using parry. It was the most wild thing ever.
Scrubs are gonna scrub.
Huh?
Scrubs are gonna scrub.
Pretty much. You get fucked.
Something else that's very interesting is when games restrict people to preset dialogue or emotes.
Yeah.
Because
Kid-friendly games be like...
people will still find a way to be as toxic as possible with their limited emotes.
Exactly.
I'm reminded of Rocket League, where people will spam. Think of there are specific emotes where it's like a friendly message, but the fact that they're spamming it makes it clear that they're being toxic, and it comes across as toxic as someone who had full access to chat would. Like
Yeah,
if you
Magic.
see "nice job" appear like 4 times in a row after
They don't
an
mean it.
enemy scores on you, they're probably not actually saying that you did a nice job.
They're probably
Yeah.
saying you fucking suck. Is this Twin Dragons? Fuck it is.
Yeah, like Magic Arena has emotes like that. And people just like spam your go if you like take like 1 second to think or something like that.
And then of course you have completely nonverbal communication in the form of teabagging or aiming in certain places in Halo. A lot of ways for people to communicate, even when the
Communicate.
game doesn't want them to.
We'll call that communication.
Well, I mean, there's teabagging, but repeatedly crouching signals a desire to be friendly if you're looking at someone else as you do it.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Unspoken rules.
I guess you have to like you kind of develop a language in a game where it doesn't give you full access to a real language.
Yeah, and you can convey the same emotions even in a game that doesn't allow for language that you could if it did. Because that's just how people are. If they want to communicate something, they'll find a way to do it. Though that's a lot different from the more social communication I was talking
Oh,
about, like with pregame lobbies and such.
there we go.
Another problem with the Halo lobby thing is that, like, just Halo Infinite not having lobbies at all means there's no way to just play with the same people. And a lot
Yeah.
of, like, playing against or with the same person repeatedly is how you develop a friendship or a rivalry with someone in a shooter game.
Can you not even queue with your friends?
You can queue with your friends, but you have to like make a party for that. I'm talking about just finding randoms to have
Yeah,
fun with.
right.
Ow.
Yeah, that is one of the problems with some of the like more popular games is um like you won't fight the same people over and over again. Like you'll often never see the same person again. Whereas if you're playing one of the games that's kind of dying, then like the matchmaking kind of sucks for like giving you good pings and like good skill matchups, but you get the benefit of playing against the same people and kind of getting to know them.
That's true. Getting to know them as in you know their strategies, how they play.
Yeah, or like if you play against somebody enough times, you like um might start messaging them and might like friend them.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a benefit of small communities. Get to know each other pretty well. And certainly, uh, it's easier to have a community versus a very large game where the only real community interaction, like, I don't know, Fortnite,
Oh,
many people play that game. So you don't really have a sense of the community unless you visit social media, because that's where that community is located, instead of being located maybe in the game where there's so few people that what you're playing with is the community, is representative of the whole community.
Yeah, like I was playing Super Street Fighter 2 HD Remix on PlayStation 3, I think it was, when it was like on his last legs, and I knew pretty much everyone that I was playing against because I was playing against the same people pretty consistently, and most of the people still playing were on the Shoryuken forums at that time, which is now a dead site. But um, so yeah, like we just all knew each other, and it was kind of cool.
Yeah. Can be beneficial to find smaller communities,
that's actually how it was
that
kind of
kind of
back in the
thing.
day when I played Minecraft, and there was just some servers you would hop onto.
Hmm.
Random people. Back when a bunch of 12-year-olds weren't using it. It was more 15 and 16-year-olds. So you didn't have all the toxic kids with all the fucking stupid ass shit. With
How old were you at the time?
I was in high school.
So you were one of the like you were on the older range of the like 15-year-olds, a little older than that.
Roughly. But I was definitely the average age. And it
Yeah.
was before all the YouTubers were playing it and all the like more grown up YouTubers aimed at trying to make money off of kids.
So you thought it was cool because the main demographic was you.
No, I just enjoyed it because it was a fun game.
Hmm.
You
But
did specifically cite the age group,
Yeah.
because
your enjoyment of the game.
the fucking there weren't 12-year-old kids, or not even just 12-year-old kids, like my niece's age, like 7 or 8 on it. It was like the server we were on, it was like, oh god, what was it? You'd be like a fucking angel, demon, werewolf, and you'd like get these sick abilities with it. So like demons could go on fire and could survive in fire, but they couldn't like go on water, they would get hurt. It was cool shit like that. And I actually got a few of my I heard of it from an in real life friend. And I got one of my other friends to get on it. But it was like a bunch of people. You just go on every day and find new people.
I'm sure if you played on a server with a bunch of 15-year-olds now, you'd find it pretty cringe.
Oh god, yeah. But back then, that was social, like how we found social people.
Hmm.
Outside of school, you went and you played video games.
Yeah.
Grab that.
We're losing one character to get it.
Yes.
It's worth it.
Except Miriam's my best character.
You probably could have jumped at it with Gubble or however you pronounce it,
Jeeble.
Jeeble, and turned into a bat, and then
I
hit
forgot
left.
it existed though, so. It is done.
The sacrifice has been made.
SEMAs, I hate them.
Yeah, any game with a community server where you can choose to go to a specific place and return to that place and see the same people. Just like seeing the same people is the way people find friends in any game.
Even
It's
on
hard, just
Discord,
so
it's how
hard
you
to do
find
that.
friends.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I would say any of us in the server that are like, what, yellow, purplish up, all are pretty. We all know each other pretty well within reason.
Yeah, there's someone that recently got yellow that I'm not sure we would.
I think I know who you're talking about, and I full-heartedly agree.
Even if I haven't like
Shit!
individually talked to certain people very much, uh, just the fact that I recognize them and know them and have seen them talk to people makes me feel like I know them. And that is more conducive to being friendly with people than otherwise.
And then you remember you've never seen their face.
Faces are overrated.
I mean, recognizing someone is like you can sort of say that you're friends with people just by proximity in some cases. And that's kind of how, and like that is how you get to know people, of course.
Yeah.
So that was just a shortcut.
Yes. And I didn't have enough juice for it the last time.
Yeah.
Risking it, I
That
don't
juice.
care. Oh!
I'm suddenly
Ah!
reminded of the ship biome in Bloodstained Ritual of the Night.
Huh?
I'm suddenly reminded of the ship biome in Bloodstained
That's what it is.
Ritual of
This
the
is the
Night.
Minerva
Yeah.
ship. That's why they have the song playing in the background. But chiptune.
I did not like the first boss on hard mode.
Why? Why? She had beautiful tits. What's there
She
not
was
to like?
janky,
Huh?
and she was janky.
She was very jank. Kill me! I need to go and study the sprite sheet, though. Of, like, all the levels.
This is a pretty intricate tile map.
Oh yeah, they all are. But
Mhm.
in some regards, they're also super simplistic. Like, even just the floor. Super simple. But it's still conducive to the feel of the ship.
Floor's okay. I mean, say the walls and background look better than the floor.
Oh, they do. But you don't need much for a floor. You just need to know the
No.
floor is a floor half the time.
It's the problem some games have where you don't know what floor, like what's the floor.
Exactly.
But in this game, you do.
I don't care about the alive white dragon. Can, dick.
You guys hyped for Silk Song?
Honestly, no.
At this point, I'm just like, when it comes out, and I will play it.
I've honestly
much?
never been hyped for Silksong.
Much of a negative impact do you think the hype train will have on Silk Song when it comes out?
A lot, honestly. I think people are waiting for the second coming of God with this game, it feels like, at some points.
Yeah.
And that's not what's gonna be delivered.
I don't know.
Not saying it's
Pretty
gonna be
sure
a
it will
bad
be.
game, but it's not gonna be, you know, Jesus reincarnate, as some make it out to be. And they have made out... Oh god, wait, what was this boss? Oh no, I remember what boss. Fuck, I hate this boss.
This was the speedy
yeah,
boy, wasn't
it's
it?
Andralaphis or whatever it is. I don't remember how to pronounce his name, but yeah, it's Rainbow Boy in the actual Bloodstained, where you get the double jump ability from. God, I love his design though.
But yeah, I kind of try to avoid being hype about games because that way I avoid being disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm not hyped about much in life, so I enjoy looking forward to Silksong because it gives me a future goal of something. Oh, this is gonna happen in the future, and I'm waiting for it patiently, and it's exciting.
Ow.
Something that will happen that will be good in life. And I do think
That sounds
Silksong.
really depressing.
I do think Silksong will be a good game, and I think Hollow Knight's a great game. And I don't see them making a game worse, significantly worse than Hollow
It's not
Knight.
gonna be worse. But I just think the people have this, like, golden image of the game in their mind.
There's going to be people who will say that it's too much like the original, and there will be people who are saying that's not enough like the original.
Yeah, probably.
There we go. God, he used to give me fucking so much trouble in the original, the first time I played this game.
He seems like a Mega Man Zero boss.
I've not played that game in years, so I cannot comment, sadly.
Yeah.
Aw, yeah, castle time.
Not sure if hype is always bad though, and when people, a lot of times when people are hyped, they will stay hyped for a while about the thing, unless it's a complete disaster, and in a way that will enhance their enjoyment of the game until the hype wears off.
I'd say hype can be good or bad, depending on, like, the weight. Like, I was crying when I heard they were making a Castlevania Nocturne, the show. Because finally, my boy Richter, getting the love he fucking deserves. But it's gonna be a while before it comes out, so it's like, okay, fuck, what do I do now in the meantime, kind of thing.
It's also going to be not evil Richter. So.
Not yet! I do hope that they fucking ignore Alucard. As much as I love Alucard,
No
I want
way
them
they're
to
ignoring
wait.
Alucard.
They need to
Alucard
wait!
is going to be in it.
He's fine for second season of it. But the first season needs to be Richter and Maria. That is my only wish. I love Alucard to death, but he needs to wait.
I'm sure Richter, in terms of sex appeal, Richter will replace the hole that Alucard
You would
will
think!
leave.
You would think, but no! Even in the games! Even in the gaming community! Alucard holds the sway over fucking everyone. And it's like Richter, but thick-thighed Simon! Hell, even Aeon is in some ways better looking than Alucard is, depending on the game, if I'm gonna be real.
Probably because people have this headcanon of Twink Alucard.
Oh god, you just reminded me of a Twitter breaking down over Regan winning everything.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
From Mob Psycho, Regan Arataka literally won like DILF Award, Twink Award, pretty much everything.
Didn't know there were Twink Awards.
There is a Twink Award, and he won hottest anime woman, hot MILF. A bunch of awards he shouldn't have won.
Oh, okay. I was
Yeah.
about to ask if he won hot like MILF.
Yeah, he
And
won it though.
okay,
He actually won it. Did not win Tumblr Sexy Man though.
that
Oh,
was on Tumblr, not Twit or
no, wait,
Twitter.
the vote is on Twitter though. So Sans
Hmm.
still reigns supreme in that department. But it was 50.1 versus 49.9. So I would say it was a pretty good vote.
I've seen a single meme, and that's the extent of my knowledge about whatever it is you're talking about.
I have spammed my own server and a few other servers full of it. It was terrible. It was hilarious, and I loved every second of that whole thing.
Oh, he was the one that like was like there was a vote with him and Sans in it,
Yep.
and they like okay.
Yeah. Fuck, what? Nah. That was some horse shit if I've ever seen it.
The Twitch stream is so delayed from the conversation that was just like, what's it gonna be? How is she gonna get screwed for like 10
Yeah.
seconds?
Just
God.
watching all the things shaking on the top, wondering which one's gonna knock her off.
Yeah.
So how would you explain the hype that surrounded Elden Ring? Would you say that's worn off by now?
I would say the hype worn off, but you know what? That's one game I was not hyped for at all, and it actually swayed me to be hyped. I will give credit where credit is due. I did not give a shit about Elden Ring. And then I saw
Yeah.
double jumping horse, and I'm like, oh, fuck. Okay.
Actually
Because
decided to not get it, but then there was a fanatical deal for $10 off. I'm like, oh, that's a reasonable deal. I guess I'll try it. And so I wound up buying it again, or buying another From Software game.
I think that now that the game's been out for a while, people are starting to have more like Breath of the Wild tier takes of it being like good but also having certain limitations instead of when the game came out people were only praising it.
Yeah.
It's a FromSoft game, so people get extremely defensive about anything related to it.
Mhm.
It's like the first it's the furthest From Software game, I should say. I've played other FromSoft. I've just never gotten as far as I did in Elden Ring, so I personally still kind of love it. I enjoy it.
I feel like it did the open world really well. It was pretty repetitious at times, but the like actual structure of it um was good.
Yeah.
It felt like there was the things that you found were meaningful,
S-
which I think is
Yeah.
one of the biggest things that's lacking in most open world games.
Yes. It's an actual world. What a fucking concept.
Holy shit, who would have thought? Also, fucking bloody vampire babe.
That's the thing, like there are plenty of people who will say they don't actually care about being in an immersive world, but having a more immersive experience in that sense, I think is always going to be better than having and being taken out of the experience by, say, generic open world tropes that make you just think, well, I'm playing an open world game.
Yeah.
Like people always complain about the open world towers because it's 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 something that doesn't need to exist and it takes people out of the experience and it can also add extra layers of tedium to the game that people are trying to play.
I remember there was some video that I watched where um they were talking about the towers and how they weren't really the main problem. They were just like one of the most obvious symptom.
I haven't watched anything on the topic, but I would agree with that take, just based off of what I've experienced. Things are placed in the world for you to interact with them, not because they need to be there.
Mm.
And I mean, the tower thing ties into how exploration of the world is done. And I don't know if you're talking about the same thing with them being very artificial landmarks and not something you actually see and want to travel to.
Mhm. So I actually like the towers in Genshin Impact. Like whenever there's a new area, the first thing I do is go get all the towers.
Yeah, honestly, that was one of the things I enjoyed most in Genshin and in Breath of the Wild too, honestly. I'm a sucker for
Interesting.
being able to explore the world, and it just gives me an excuse to do it.
Mhm.
I think Elden Ring it was great in that it made a lot of people realize that so I'm sorry if this is like a really milquetoast take by now, because I know there have been videos on the subject that I haven't seen, but people have realized that an open world game, like the formula that every game seems to follow, actually kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Which formula?
The Ubisoft open world,
Oh, Ubisoft. Okay.
where you go around and you find collectibles and you find more collectibles, and then you unlock part of the map and you can see on your map every single collectible and you go touch them all and you do all the activities and then you've beaten the game.
Yeah.
I think they're fine games. It's just saturation, honestly.
I mean, they
Yeah.
can be enjoyable, but they're also padded out a lot with those random activities, and it feels like a very artificial way to pad it out, just throwing things you have to interact with if you want to do everything all over the map.
Yeah. Like the biggest problem, like this is definitely like a take that's already been referred to with Elden Ring is like the fact that other games want to be 100%ed and Elden Ring doesn't care.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Because in a lot of games, I like being able to 100% them, and I like that they facilitate that being a thing, like in Metroidvanias.
Mm.
But in open world games, 100%ing them usually means you're doing something tedious and repetitive.
Mhm.
So
100%ing the
it's
Thieves Guild be like in
just
Skyrim.
not as fun. And additionally, having, if you want to have like secrets and just random side areas that the player doesn't need to feel pressured to do, then not not tracking their completion or not telling them that they should be 100%ing the game is a good idea.
Yeah.
Also, I just realized that was a picture of Igarashi. That was Iga.
Nice.
Had the cowboy hat and everything.
So when you said that was Iga, that was when like he was just coming onto the screen.
Yeah, it was good
Oh, for
timing.
you? Okay, because I
Yeah.
just killed him. So I
Yeah.
wasn't sure. So when I say it in stream, I just killed him.
Hmm. Well, I think the stream would like somebody watching the stream would be synced up to what
Yes,
you're
to you guys
seeing.
are saying.
We're
Wait.
we're
Oh, yeah,
no,
to
we're
me.
delayed.
That's true. Yeah, no, you're right. No.
There's definitely a lot of anti-hype surrounding tropes that people perceive as being overdone in games, like the open world formula.
Yeah.
Not that people still won't like play those games when they come out in all likelihood, but
I'll be playing Elder Scrolls 6.
Well, at this point, I think that open world is a genre, and so people who like that genre will play those games.
Oh, it's 100% a genre.
But
yeah.
like a lot of the time, there's a lot of overlap between AAA games and open world games,
Yes.
and I think that's what people are getting tired of.
Sadly, open world games usually do require that AAA budget. Oh, fuck! Fuck! No. Okay.
I mean, I think a lot of like the fact that so many AAA games are open world, I think that's just a symptom of the things that those studios care about and how they market their games.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the way the like open world formula, like the AAA open world formula, is basically just make a bunch of content and then stuff it all into the same world.
To be
And
fair, Two Worlds did that as well, and that was India's shit.
Hmm.
And
but
we see how that game is.
but the development pipeline for a AAA like studio is more conducive to that.
Yeah.
And it's probably easier to make an open world game when you have no, like, when your team has no sense of direction. You just make random stuff and you make a world. And then it just kind of, it can come together later.
And yeah.
I suppose I don't have examples, but I'm sure that a lot of open world games kind of feel like they're meandering because of that. That being that it wasn't really made with there's not like there's not intentionality. There's just random stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
And there's a story, kind of. A lot of times it's not a great story.
Yeah.
That's an excuse to just interact with all the content.
Yeah, like they probably need to have a more focus on having somebody directing all of the content creation to make it more cohesive.
Yeah.
Not have everyone, for the voice actors, record their lines in alphabetical order.
It's a great idea.
They did that for Oblivion.
That sounded 100% believable, but I didn't know what game you were referring to.
Yeah, no, and it is actually a fact. They had them record their lines in alphabetical order. So when you're listening to some of those and you just hear some of the lines and it's like complete tone shift, it's like, why?
That's why.
That's why.
Amazing. I mean, yeah, if you look at AAA from the perspective of this is being made solely to generate money, then you consider what is it that this game is offering? What did the people who made this, what were they thinking about when they created this game? They're thinking of ways to give you stuff to do, and they're thinking of, oh, we can show off this cool, interesting looking world even if it doesn't have any depth, and show it off in screenshots and trailers and E3. And I think that those priorities are a big reason why AAA open world games are such a thing. It just lines up. it's convenient to make, and you get your big, cool looking things to do, and you get your large quantity of content. Make it worth the purchase.
So I just realized why it makes sense that all the bosses seem like Mega Man Zero bosses. Both of these games were made by Creates.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's neat.
Gotta keep going.
This the Ori level.
I've never played. I cannot comment on that. All I know
Ori
this
is
level
like a
as
lot of
is the one where you fucking run away from the shit and that you can attack later on.
okay, except for the attack later on that you just described. How Ori, the original Ori's boss fights work.
That's lame.
Some people don't want to like combat,
Well, those people are nerds.
as opposed to
Big
Oh,
thing.
I fucked that up. Shit.
I'm seems you're not getting a response, so I will just go into the. Seems that a lot of hype comes from community interaction and just the echo chamber aspect of social media and insular communities around specific games where people feed off of each other's energy.
Yeah, I'll agree. Like, I wasn't that hyped for Elden Ring, but then I kind of got hyped more with friends after that one trailer that I got interested in, and then my friends did not help that at all. They made the hype bigger.
yeah, there was a lot of talk on MV Cord about it, which I think contributed to me getting it. Sometimes I get games just because I think I'll get spoiled for the game if I don't play it like at launch,
Fuck.
and that's kind of like one of those games.
I still haven't been spoiled that much on Elden Ring because I actually avoid content.
And
Yes.
I'll see like the thumbnails of like 100 things you missed in Elden Ring, and I'm like, I'm not going to watch this.
Yeah, right.
mm,
Is this the part? Yep. It's this part. Shit.
And I enjoy that it's a game that exists where I can find stuff out about it, and I know that there's stuff to find out about it because of all these videos, but I don't know what there is to find out.
mm,
And it's like if I want to go read through a bunch of item descriptions, I can go do that.
true.
I'll find stuff there, probably.
Nope, that is not what I want in game. Don't do this. Ha! Ha! Fuck yeah.
Now I'm wondering what happened.
You'll see.
So Silksong is certainly the most hyped Metroidvania currently.
Eh.
Maybe
What other
that or
games
Rune
are
Fencer
hyped?
Ilia, maybe.
I am hyped for Rune Fencer Ilia. I will admit it.
I mean, I think the MV Chord is hyped for a lot of games that aren't very well known outside of the MV Chord, like Rune Fencer earlier.
Mhm.
I don't know,
And
have
to
they
be
been
fair, we
getting a
get
lot of
the
social media stuff?
dev. Oh. What was that?
Well,
Sorry.
yeah,
They
that's
do.
what I'm saying. Like, we know a lot of
Yeah.
devs, so of course we're more hyped about games, and we know about more games that are coming out.
Yeah, I think I saw an image on the Facebook page about like that was showing a bunch of games that they said were like really hyped, like Last Faith.
I'm hyped for a 9.
Oh, they actually made it the like channel um like image. So Ghost Song, The Last Faith,
Shit.
9 Years of Shadows,
Yeah.
Moonscars, and Silk Song. I think Moonscars is the one that's closest to coming out, and people are like, some of the hype is like going down because people saw the like download size or something like that. They're like,
That's
oh man, that's really small.
that's such a weird thing to complain about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like saying that people's opinions are wrong,
I
but
do. They're fucking wrong.
in this case, well, I can see where some of that's coming from. I think those people are wrong.
I know they're wrong.
Mhm.
I mean, in my opinion, in my very unbiased and always correct opinion, download size never correlates to how good a game is going to be, how even big a game is going to be. If they optimize it properly, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, like it having more space indicates that there's more in it, which can be good, but that using less space means that it's more optimized, which is also good.
Yeah.
Just it's not useful in any way to look at like the file size of something when judging its quality, because it can mean anything.
I mean, if it's like excessive on one way or another, then maybe. Like, oh, this is like 2 kilobytes. What am I actually downloading? Or it's like, this is like a terabyte. Like, what did you even put in this? Did you just save random files?
Ah, it's still there. Okay. I was wondering if it was this game.
Yeah, so Silksong, Rune Fencer. There are a lot of games that are coming out, and I don't really know much about any of them, and because they're Metroidvanias, and I care about things that you can't discern from the trailer,
Yeah.
I'm not really that hyped about most games. Don't really care. Like, if it comes out and a bunch of people play it and say it's good, then I'll care. But there's a lot of them, and I feel like any of these could come out, and then it's just random chance if it's a good game or a terrible game. And I have no way of discerning the good ones from the terrible ones before they come out.
And then somebody has to get it first.
Yeah, I mean, but like these more popular ones that people are hyped for, I don't have to care about being one of the first people or anything. If it's a pretty obscure game, or you know, if it's like someone will post it in new releases, and it has like 2 reviews, and it looks okay, that's a different story
Yeah.
than all these other games where to me it just feels like the which particular one's coming out doesn't actually matter to me. It just matters most like the quantity of games that are coming out, because it's just a lottery roll for if it's good or not.
Mhm.
And like that would correlate to my excitement level. If like 3 new good-looking games came out tomorrow, I wouldn't be excited because I think any of them in particular are going to be great. I'd be excited because there's a decent likelihood that one of them will be, at least one of them will be good.
Oh no, I don't remember how to fight this phase. Fuck!
You'll be fine.
I'm
They
hoping I
stole
can beat
this.
it quick.
They stole this from La Mulana.
What?
Is this? Are you saying that this is your profile picture?
Yes.
Should be the... Nope, it's gonna be the crescents. Okay.
I think this game would be improved if they did the La Mulana boss jingle for each of the bosses.
Ah, shit, I fucked it up.
I think most games would be improved if they had some sort of boss jingle.
What do you mean by boss jingle specifically?
A boss motif that you can reuse in different ways for different bosses. So in La Mulana, it's the ba-ba-ba-bo, ba-ba-ba-bo, and
Oh,
that's in
yeah.
the beginning of every
Yep, it
boss
is.
theme in some form, but they do it in a lot of different, they reuse it in different ways.
Yeah, I can confirm that. I do remember that.
And not that I pay super close attention to game soundtracks or anything, so for all I know, it's commonplace. But for me, having recognizable motifs in a game soundtrack gives it a, those are the things that I really like
I
in a
agree.
game soundtrack, more
And-
so than just the general quality or the instruments.
And not a lot of games do it as much as you would hope. Zelda does it a lot. Undertale really made it come to light, I would say. Undertale was terrible in a good way for how many fucking motifs it reused. And he used them so cohesively, it was really smart. And a lot of people liked it. I loved it. Yeah. How many more hits do you need? Oh, I have the wrong one, that's why. Okay. Yeah, Undertale was insane for that. Castlevania sadly doesn't do it as much as I would love it to. They'll just remix. They'll just straight up remix.
Yeah, it's weird that they do that so much.
Well, and I'm fine with the remixes. If they remixed more obscure songs, I would love it even more, but they don't.
It's like, okay, but also that's not at all it's not what I would really want, you know,
Yeah.
over alternatives.
No, and I feel that. But yeah, Castlevania is one that doesn't really have motifs. I mean, it does, but it doesn't.
And that's just part of Castlevania being a lot of loosely connected random stuff.
Yeah.
Here's a cool song, here's another unrelated cool song.
Oh, I love that though, too. Woo! Part 1 is done in roughly an hour and so minutes, or hour and a half. Look at that.
Yeah.
Pretty good timing.
Hell yeah. Look at those nerds being nerds.
Are you guys hyped for the next episode of the Metroidvania podcast?
Oh god!
I
We
sure
barely
am.
talked about hype. We talked more about fucking... What was it? Social.
Control stuff, yeah. Well, the next episode's the trailer episode, so
Oh, that is true.
I'm so hyped. You guys, just the fact that, just me saying that I'm hyped will make other people more hyped.
I
obviously.
think we're gonna have to put this, for the YouTube episode, we're gonna have to do all caps. Not fake.
This is true.
Alright, right. Well, have a nice night, everyone.
Yeah. Bye.
Okay.